Yo, what up, what up, what up? Good morning, good morning. Yeah, I wanted to, talk about Juneteenth since this was yesterday. And how everybody is celebrating and just give y'all the little quick reminder of why we shouldn't look at this as a holiday for us because it's not. You know, I know a lot of us are docile and oblivious to the meaning of it, thinking that it was Freedom Day, it was the end of slavery. But little do you know that it was about the deaths of many indigenous people in America. It had nothing to do with slavery. Everything is usually when it comes to us, it's hijacked. It's always he say, she say when it comes to what really happened. And I tell people this all the time, just because we was emancipated and let go as far as slaves, slavery was never abolished. Slavery was changed. It was moved. Like when you sit back and think about how deep this shit is, like you would be so upset. You would be upset just because of the fact that they tricked us. And slavery really didn't happen the way we think it happened. Because a lot of our people didn't know what slavery was until like the 70s and 80s. That wasn't taught in the school curriculum until Roots came out. And Roots came out in 1972, 73 on a major network, NBC. That's when it premiered. And we just believe everything they tell us. And I bet, like, if you have a grandparent right now, they would not know what slavery was or even thought about it. And I just tell people this, to really do your own research, look into your own family history. And I'm not saying that slavery didn't exist, but it wasn't what we think it is or think it was. A lot of people were servants. A lot of people worked on land and got paid for it. And it wasn't no whipping or anything like that. We were really bamboozled when we was in school. We really was like tricked. We just sit back and allow them to tell us our history. The ones who wrote the history books were the ones who designed the world map. Those was the ones who told us who we were without any explanation, any type of questioning, any type of debate. But Juneteenth was about us, you know what I'm saying? Not just so-called African slaves being brought to America. But we was already here. We was already chiefs, and we already had tribes and stuff. So they lied to us. And to say that this is freedom, it was Freedom Day and everything like that, it was never no type of freedom between us. Because even after all of that, we faced over 100 years in Jim Crow and having to be segregated and being lynched and being terrorized. And all we do is vote and this and that, but voting, you know, to put them on a higher pedestal and put them in leadership of us, it just made us codependent. It made us having to rely and depend on them to help us as far as rights and, you know, cause of living and this and that. But it just never was a good idea. It never solved anything when it came to our freedom and liberation. So we had to fight, you know what I'm saying? We had to take our freedom. And that's why they was always losing, because we just had that warriorship. We had that unity. We had that bond between us, and just had to make sure that we was gonna make sure that it was just gonna be bloodshed. And I just always just tell people, like, if we free, you know, how come we have to depend on mainly two branches and stuff like that? We have to depend on the Democrats, and we got to depend on the Republicans, and we've been going Democrat for over 60 years. And nobody really knows why black people vote Democrat. And these are the same people that created the Ku Klux Klan, you know, and black people don't really know why we vote Democrat to this day. But it just really has been not working for us. And this is why we need to, you know, have our own branch and stuff like that. But the United States, man, the United States just always been on some Jedi mind tricks and having us to believe that we was just a peaceful, everyone got along and this and that. But when it came down to us, it was just extermination. It was genocide. It was always things to try to, you know, take us off our square. You know, they wanted to claim all this land for themselves. In Texas, you know, Galveston, Texas and everything like that, they wanted to kill all the indigenous people there. But they didn't, because of the fact that they had several tribes work together, you know, come together because of a common enemy. And we have to acknowledge the ancestors and the indigenous people, you know what I'm saying? Our ancestors, you know, we gotta acknowledge that they was brave, they fought. They wasn't gonna sit back and allow to be invaded like that. And it was like thousands of Indian raids back in the day, you know, because Indian and black people, you know, the black people, when I use that emphasis on that, you know, I gotta dumb myself down, because y'all dumb down a little bit so y'all can understand. The people that were enslaved and the people that was indigenous to this land, they were all looked alike, you know. half got captured and half didn't. So you couldn't make a Aboriginal a slave, because the Aboriginal was going to at least fight you back. They weren't taking themselves alive. They weren't going to put up with being in captivity like that. So a lot of them fought back, the generals and the armies and stuff like that, and they were losing. We always, got our freedom through, going on war paths and just making sure that we overcame certain things and just, like I said, it's just an insult, because now it's like everybody can celebrate Juneteenth. It's not just for us, it's for everybody. It's a federal holiday, it's a federal law, so that means everybody can capitalize off this day. You know what I'm saying? It's really like a chess move when you really sit back and think about it. It's not anything for us to be happy or proud about or feel upliftment about when everybody can celebrate it. It was just one of those things that to avoid giving us reparations. Because we are old, all of us are old. When I mean all of us, I mean my people. We are old over $250,000 in reparations, but they don't want to give it to us because that will bankrupt the entire economy if they have to pay us back. But they paid everybody else back but us, and we built this country. We built it to the economic enterprise that it is today. We built this Wakanda. We was a Wakanda before. They came over here and colonized it, everything, and we have to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how we free when we got people that still was picking cotton, that still was being paid low wages. And when you go to jail, you property of the state. You property of the jail. And that's how they making 30 cents and 40 cents a day, because of the fact that they still slaves. So how we free? How we can celebrate liberation. We would never celebrate liberation, or we would never be free when they tell us when we can be free. And a lot of us are really like dumb. A lot of us really don't know what the hell we be talking about. And a lot of us are really just naive, thinking that we're free, that we're can roam and not be terrorized and stuff like that. It's the same stuff that's happening back then that's happening today. We have seen this on social media. We've seen people get assassinated. We've seen people get acquitted from, murder. We've seen this. We've seen people get uncharged for killing one of us. We've seen this. So there's no freedom. There ain't no freedom till everybody gets their just due. When everybody get treated fairly. This is not no win for us. You really should be mad about it, because it took them, over 200 years to make this a federal law when it should have been a law from jump, from get-go. If they really wanted to do right by us, they should have made this right in the beginning. But no, you know what I'm saying? They waited over 200 years to pass it into law. And I'm not hating. I'm just being honest. Like, you should look at this as an insult, and you see a lot of, you know, my brothers and sisters wearing dashikis and wearing African colors when they're not We not African. You know what I'm saying? We were here too, you know. They don't want to tell you that. They don't want you to know who you really are. You know, just like I have in the thumbnail. Like, we was wearing red, white, and blue before it got put on the flag. And how you think they came up with that? Because we was wearing those colors. We were innovators, trendsetters. And this is not, you know, this is not no bash. This is just real. You know, we created everything. We had our own nation. We had our own rules and laws. You know what I'm saying? And we just sit back and allow people to dictate how we gonna live and how they govern us. But this was a slap in our faces. They spit in our faces, mentally with this and psychologically with this. And we just have to understand, like, you know, we gotta, you know what I'm saying, put in an effort to teach our kids and teach them properly, teach them the way that we supposed to be taught, and give some type of understanding to them, so they would know who they are, so they would be impactful in the society. But yeah, everything wasn't as you thought it was. And this holiday, it just was a waste. And a lot of people gonna disagree with me, but I don't care. At the end of the day, it's like, how we free when we still depending on those who came to invade us for help, for resources, for supplies, for everything else. When we don't own anything, we don't own any land, we don't own any power or electric companies, we don't own any water towers, we don't own no stock, we don't own nothing. You know, we just think that we balling, we stunting because we get cars, we get shoes, we get clothes, we get jewelry, but hood rich still means broke. Hood rich is still poverty, people. But yeah, I just wanted to leave y'all with that, and I'm out.